So it looks like we're going to have a hard Brexit because of our sovereignty. Our nation's sovereignty is being threatened, and we can't allow that. It's all about sovereignty. Everyone's talking about sovereignty now. I'm talking about sovereignty, and basically, it's not pure enough. That's what the government say. It's impure sovereignty because we can't keep our own borders. We can't apparently we can't eat our own fish or something, and we can't make our own rules and regulations because the sovereignty is impure. It's not 100% pure. So, unfortunately, because of that, we're going to have to trade with ourselves until we get someone who's willing to trade with us with 100% purity, and then we can trade with other people. I think we've done a deal with Singapore, and it's 100% pure, our sovereignty. Even though it's the same deal that we're doing with Singapore that it was with the EU. But unfortunately with the EU, the sovereignty is about 80% pure because we're a member of a club, the EU. We had to give them a little bit in return for cheap fruit and veg, and us being allowed to trade with them, and getting free movement of people and free movement of labour and lots of free stuff basically, and the right to go and work there, and the right to go on holiday and use their medical stuff. All that, we're giving it all up, and loads of stuff that I can't remember, because it's not pure enough. The nation's sovereignty, the nation has to have 100% pure sovereignty. And so in the meantime, we're going to trade with ourselves and Singapore and a couple of other people that I don't know or never heard of, but we're pure. I mean, our personal sovereignty might be diminished, arguably, because there might be delays at the port, and we won't be able to get our vitamin C in our fresh veg because they'll be a bit wilted by the time they arrive because of the blockages at Kent. So your kids might not get fresh veg, but nobody really knows. That might not happen because we've never done a Brexit like this before, a no-deal Brexit, even though we've been trading for 40 years and our sovereignty was pretty good for 40 years. It's now no good. And that's the really important thing to remember. So, you know, if you lose your job because you're trading with Europe, it's unfortunate, but you know deep in your heart that it's for the good of the nation, because the nation's sovereignty is 100% pure, distilled to the finest sovereignty known to the universe. And that's the main thing. You might have to pay roaming charges when you go abroad. You might have to pay for a visa. You might have to pay extra for your food, and you might have a few problems, but at least you know the nation's sovereignty is 100% pure. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, we did leave the EU, and this is the thing. We left the EU. We chose to leave the EU, so I felt our sovereignty was quite good. But I was wrong. I didn't vote for that. I didn't realise it was not pure enough, and that's what the 4% of people in the referendum voted for, the purest form of sovereignty. So everything else is cast aside because we've got to get the best form of sovereignty ever invented by the world. And in the meantime, we're going to trade with ourselves and Singapore. And then one day we will be the best trading with the purest form of purity, of pureness, of sovereignty. But not Europe, because they're impure. We can't trade with Europe, they're a bit impure. We can't, unless they are willing to negotiate and allow a bit of, impurity, and, well, not impurity, unless they change their mind, but they can't.